I'm doing a piece on Hayden Shaw, so not a Gopher question. It's shocking.
Okay.
What have you seen from Hayden's game over the last 4 years of him progressing and his on and off ice growth?
Yeah, well, added confidence. Him being an elder statesman now as a senior, a guy that's added to his role. He was always very good defensively, but now he's increased his offensive ability a little bit through rushes and in the offensive zone. So I see a guy that's taking charge here a little bit more, and he always did the right things on and off the ice as far as preparing and investing in his game. But now you're seeing a little bit more on the ice, that side of it, and again, it's good to see. That's what leaders do, and he's taking that added role.
These destination games, I mean, you guys have played them before. Does familiarity with them help, or are they all kind of their own unique animal?
First of all, the destination games, I think it's a great thing that we're doing here as far as adding to the student athlete experience. The exposure side of it for our program, going into a so-called neutral site, seeing people from around the country come to that place, that destination, that's awesome. It happened in New York with 8,000 plus. It's going to happen in Vegas here, so that's a great thing. For us, as far as playing against an opponent like Minnesota, an old WCHA rival that there's tradition and history in both programs. There's respect for both programs, but something that is kind of neat to see, and it's going to be a great game in the fact that I think both teams will be focusing on each other, even though there's a lot of things going on in Vegas, and it's going to be a great college hockey game in the fact that a lot of people will be watching, and again, we're grateful for having that.
You touched on it a little bit. Obviously, there's a lot going on, not only in Vegas, but headlines all over the place about the two rivals playing each other. How do you keep your team focused on the task at hand, which is beating the Gophers on Saturday?
Well, the focus has to start. It started after Saturday night's game against Mankato, about talking about it, and then through practice Monday through this whole week, on the things that we need to work on in practice that we have to work on in the game, and it's something that we constantly talk about, filtering things out. There's going to be a lot of family and friends. There's going to be fans. There's going to be, the things in Vegas that you get caught up in. Well, we're not going to get caught up in that. We're going to make sure that our group stays tight. We're going to, spend a lot of time together on different things, and then once it finally comes to game time, it's drilling down on those things that we've prepared for, the details that we worked on through the whole week here. So our guys have done a good job so far in the start of the week, and it just doesn't say turn the light on Saturday and saying, hey, let's focus. The focus has started a long time before that.
Do you have any things planned in terms of getting these guys out and getting to experience Vegas a little bit?
Well, the only one thing that we do have planned is spending a couple hours watching a couple periods of the Tampa Bay Golden Knights game at 3 o'clock on Friday. Getting out and spending a little bit of time. So it's not walking the streets and looking at attractions and different things. It is hockey, watching hockey. And then we're going to go out for a team meal that night, and which is things that we do normally on a road trip. So again, it's one of those things, we're there for business, and again, we want to make sure that we drill down on that.
Are you concerned by the penalty kill so far this season, or is it just a small sample size?
Well, I wouldn't say concerned. I think it's one of those things that, through the early part of the season, the offensive part, the defensive part, different things haven't all worked together in one game. And, now the penalty kill here is something that, we're going to drill into. We already have here. And it's the four guys plus the goaltender on the ice working together as a unit. And it's one of those things that we have to get better at, and making sure the personnel that we put out there does the job. So again, like I said, it's an area that we have to get better at, because obviously what special teams are all about, power play and penalty kill. They're a major factor in the result of a game, absolutely.
What are you kind of expecting from the Gophers on Saturday?
High-paced game. They're a highly offensive team that likes to get up and down the ice. They like to, use the rush as a part of their offense. They have some very good depth in their forward lines, and goaltending and defense. So they're a very good team. We're a very good team. It's going to be a matchup that we have to make sure that we play the right way. And again, I think they're two very good teams that have a little bit of different identity, each of them. And again, I think it'll make up for a great matchup.
Is this Gopher team more comparable to last year's Gopher team or last year's St. Cloud State team?
I would say, just from watching some pre-scout, I think there's a lot of resemblance of their team from last year, with a couple of tweaks structurally, just a couple of tweaks. I think it's very reminiscent of a Gopher team. I don't think there's much change other than a couple of tweaks that maybe Bob's put on that team. But again, like I said, it's a good team. It's a team that's ranked high for a reason, and it's a team that we know that we're going to play our best against.
Do you feel like you're well equipped to keep up with their fast pace of play?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. You know, when you got experienced players like we have that have been around the block here a little bit, plus guys like Mark Senden coming in our lineup and Cole Smith, you know, those are guys that we need to have play consistently the way they did against Mankato and have that side of it. You know, it's you never know till you know, you go 2 or 3 weeks into the season with young guys where they fit into the group here. And now that we've got a little bit of information, absolutely we can keep up.
Any more questions? One more. Yeah, just the penalties that you guys have taken. It seems like there's been a lot of stick stuff, and then there's been some of those major penalties. Do you talk to the guys about, you know, addressing it, or, you know, how do you guys avoid taking so many penalties in a game?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, when you look at the past 4 games, I mean, there's a major penalty that one person took early in the game, which took us out of the flow of the game forward-wise, right? And then there was probably 1 or 2 games where we took excessive stick penalties. Yeah, I mean, it's things we talk on, and it's one of those things that you want to be aggressive as a team, but you have to have discipline in the game, and it's through the use of video, it's through the use of individual meetings. It's, you know, when we talked to Rhett Gardner after that penalty, or after he took the major penalty, you know, the next game he was good in the fact that he was more disciplined on it. It's those teaching things you got to keep teaching about here, and again, it's one of those things in a game where obviously discipline is going to have to be a factor.
I got to follow up on that. When you play a rivalry series with the Gophers, it's a heated battle, of course. Do you have to have certain players that have a propensity to take players, maybe focus a little bit more about not getting into one of those extra?
Well, you know, yeah, and again, I go back to a guy like Gino Gasparini a long time ago said, you know, when you're playing these type of series, you got to get to the edge. You can't be over the edge, and you can't be 3 feet back from the edge. You have to get to the edge, and you have to play on the edge. And for our guys, it's the same thing. It goes to this day as far as that's the way you have to play. You know, we are a team. North Dakota is a team that's an aggressive team. We're on our toes all the time. But anytime you go over that edge, that's what we talk about, the penalty side of it. If you're back from the edge, you don't want that either, because you don't have a chance to have success. Got to get to the edge, and you got to have discipline.